Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a book that really wants to shake up the very foundations of psychology. It's Black Psychology by Makale, and its whole premise starts by asking us to just forget everything we think we know about the human mind. Right from the start, the author hits us with this incredibly bold idea. Let's think about psychology as if the hegemonic epistemologies, that's kind of a fancy way of saying the dominant Western ways of thinking we're all taught, just don't exist. The point isn't just to poke holes in the current system, but to imagine a totally new one from a completely different starting point. So where do you even start with something like that? Well, before you can build something new, you gotta understand what's wrong with the old, right? So the book first takes a really hard look at the psychology that's taught everywhere, and it pinpoints what it sees as a fundamental flaw. And here's the core argument: what we call mainstream psychology isn't some universal science of the mind. The author argues that really it's a psychology born from a very specific European culture and worldview. It just acts like it's universal, and in doing so, it kind of pushes aside all other ways of understanding who we are. The book uses a really powerful word for this. It's framed as more than just a simple bias. It calls it menticide. I mean, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's described as a kind of psychological war, a systematic process designed to warp African consciousness and ultimately crush resistance. And this quote from scholar Amos Wilson just hits the nail on the head. The argument is that if you take this foreign framework and try to apply it to African experiences, you're not just getting it wrong, you're actually doing harm. You're deeply misleading people. Okay, so after laying out the problem, the book starts to build its alternative, and it begins at the most basic level you can imagine, asking the question, what does it even mean to be a person? This slide is fascinating because it shows this huge difference in worldview just through simple phrases. You know how we might say, oh, it's only human to make mistakes? It's kind of like a get-out-of-jail-free card. But in Sesotho, if someone does something wrong, you might hear something that translates to, this thing is not moto. See the difference? One is a biological fact. The other is a spiritual and cultural standard you have to live up to. So what is motho or umatu? Well, the key idea here is that it's not a given. It's not something you're just born with. It's something you become. It's this state of being you grow into, where you're living in harmony and wholeness with life itself. It's about being your true, authentic self. And this is a completely holistic way of looking at a person. You're not just a mind rattling around in a body. You're an integrated system. It starts with muya, that's the life force, the energy, the spark, that's carried in the mamle, the physical body. Inside that you have semelo. Think of it as your unique spiritual fingerprint, your essential character. And all of that together makes up sebele, the whole complete you. Okay, so we have this really rich, new definition of a person. How does that build out into a full psychological framework? Well, it gives us a brand new lens to see the world through. And that lens is called African-centeredness. Now, it's really important to get this. The author stresses this isn't just some academic theory you study. It's a fundamental state of being. It's like having an internal compass, a core you can always come back to that gives you clarity. Now, the book makes a really sharp distinction here. You've probably heard of Afrocentricity, right? The author argues that's more of an academic tool, a methodology that anyone, a European scholar for example, can study and use. But African-centeredness, that's described as something totally different. It's an internal state, an inner knowing that, according to the author, you have to be African to truly possess. So what does this all look like in practice? Well, first off, you can't separate it from spirituality. It's all connected, it's holistic. Health isn't just about treating symptoms. The goal is Witsakanalo, this state of total balance and equilibrium. In therapy, I love this, it's not about fixing what's broken, it's sakul, the act of illuminating the spirit, of making it brilliant again. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? For the African, health is life. Health is vital force. Health is power. It's not just about not being sick. Health is an active, powerful state of being. It's life itself. All right, this is where it all comes together. The book takes all these really deep philosophical ideas and connects them directly to the political reality we live in, and it builds towards a powerful call for revolutionary change. To paint a picture of the current situation, the author brings in this incredible Basotho folktale. It's about a beast called Kagori Mutsumo, a terrifying, all-consuming monster that literally swallowed an entire nation whole. But here's the crazy part. Inside the belly of this beast, people just kept on living. They fell in love, got married, raised families. They completely normalized it. They got so used to living inside the monster that they just accepted it as their entire world. But then, a hero is born, Moshanyana Wasim Katane. And because he has this unique awareness, he sees things differently. He gets it. You can't reform the beast while you're living inside it. You can't fight the system while you're feeding on it. No, the book argues the beast must be destroyed from within. And that right there is the core of the political argument. The psychological recentering isn't about reforming the beast or making life in its belly a little more comfortable. The ultimate goal is its complete and unavoidable destruction. And this leaves us with the book's final, incredibly provocative question. It really challenges the whole purpose of psychology for an oppressed people. Is it supposed to be a tool to help you adjust to an unjust reality? Or is it a tool, maybe even a weapon, for total liberation? I mean, that one question just completely reframes the entire discipline.